Hello friends, very good evening. Welcome to the Hindu analysis. Yesterday I could not cover one important article. That article on money laundering. Supreme Court delivered a judgment on the constitutional validity of 2019 amendment to PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. So let's discuss that act today. But why? Who is this person? We are supposed to discuss money laundering, right? Who is this man and what is this? These two images are here for a reason. We will understand the reason in a while. This handsome man that you can see here is called, his name is Al Capone. His name is Al Capone. He's a very famous personality. Not in a positive sense, but in a negative sense. He's a notorious American gangster. Notorious American gangster. But how is he related to today's concept? We have to go back to 1920s. If you go back to 1920s, in the US, United States, there was prohibition on liquor. There was prohibition on liquor. So during those days, this handsome man used to sell liquor illegally. He used to sell liquor illegally. So he used to do lot of such activities, lot of such illegal activities. The ones which were prohibited by the government of US, he used to get into them. He used to maintain this organized crime in an illegal manner. Obviously, when you do such things, you will earn a lot of cash because you cannot do such things digitally. So you will have to do all of them in cash. They are all cash transactions. So this man also used to maintain lot of laundromats. What are they? Laundromat. What is a laundromat? A laundromat is a place where you can go pay cash. By paying cash, you can get your clothes, dirty clothes laundered, wash and dry. You pay, it's like a coin. You drop a coin and then get your clothes laundered or cleaned and dried completely. So he used to run these laundromats. On the other hand, he was earning a lot of this illicit cash, illegal cash by selling liquor or alcohol. And alcohol was prohibited then. So what he used to do, he used to report all the money that he was getting from the sales of alcohol as if it was coming out of this sale of laundromat, not sale of laundromat, usage charges of laundromats. Are you getting it? He is getting money from the sale of liquor, but he is projecting it as if it has come from the usage charges of laundromats. Are you getting it? So what is that this person has done? Have you understood what this man has done? He has simply laundered money. He has simply laundered money. He did the act of money laundering. So what has happened now? He got money from illicit means, which means it is dirty money. It is dirty money because it came out of illegal activity. But he made it look like it has come out of running this laundromat. So he was trying to show it as clean money. I am running this laundromat and I am getting so much money because customers pay me in cash. So he was making this dirty money look like clean money. So this idea, this action of making dirty money look like clean money is called money laundering. In fact, the name money laundering is rumored to have come from this activity of Al Capone because he was using laundry mats. So because of which it got this name money laundering. I hope you have got the meaning of money laundering. So you get money out of some illicit activity. It could be drug trafficking, human trafficking, or any other illegal activity, or selling liquor in a prohibited area, right? And you take the money and you make it look like legal money. So Al Capone showed one way of doing money laundering, but today people are inventing more and more number of ways. So let's look at how money laundering is getting done in today's world. In this slide, if you see, you have seen this definition. You can see the definition of money laundering here. The illegal process of making large amounts of money generated by criminal activity such as drug trafficking, terrorist funding, etc. appear to have come from a legitimate source. They will try to make it look like it has come from a legitimate source. If you look at money laundering cycle, it has 3 stages: placement, layering, and integration. So the first step, first of all, they collect this dirty money from illegal activities like drug trafficking. Then they put it in the bank account of any company. So generally what they do, they open a shell company or suitcase company. I am giving you one example. This is not the only way. Whatever Al Capone did, people are doing even today. It need not be that all 3 stages have to be followed. For example, you are running a restaurant which accepts cash, and you do some illegal activity, get money, and you will show it in the books of restaurant. You will tell the income tax department or anyone that I have got this money from my restaurant sales. No one will come and verify. That is also money laundering. So typically what they do, they get this money, typically opens a shell company, and there will be a bank account of this company. They get this money deposited into the bank account of the shell company. Shell company is a company which does not have any physical infrastructure. They will have office and infra only on paper. The company is only on paper, but if you go to that address, you will not find anything. Once you put the money into this company's account, the next step is layering. In layering, what they do is they send that money from this company to another company, and that company to another company, that company to another company. So they will do multiple transactions. Multiple iterations, or they will split the money and send it to different multiple related companies, which are again shell companies. Let's say they have transferred it to the account of company X, and then company X gives a loan to company Y, right? And company Y pays for a false invoice. It takes a false invoice of company X and then pays it back. So they will do all these things. And finally with this money, they will purchase this kind of luxury assets or financial assets or real estate or something. For example, in UK, if you buy property, big houses in UK, they generally don't check the source. The real estate transactions in UK are not that stringent, and you can somehow manage to send the money to United Kingdom and purchase big property there. By then the money would have traveled multiple accounts, multiple transactions, multiple companies. So it is very difficult to identify the origin of the company. It is very difficult to identify the origin or the source of the money. Very difficult. If someone asks, yes, this particular company has purchased this mansion or this house, but how did that company get money? Yes, it got money from another company. How did that company get that money? It got money from another company. So there will be so many such transactions. It is very difficult to figure out the origin or source of the money. This is how people do money laundering activities. Now, why are we talking about it? India enacted a law in 2002, PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act in 2002. Since then, it was amended multiple times. In 2012, it was amended. In 2015, it was amended. And in 2019 also, it was amended. So recently, some people went to Supreme Court and they asked some of the amendments to be removed. And Supreme Court delivered its judgment. So let's look at what the Supreme Court has said. So if you look at this headline, SC upholds the powers of arrest raid under PMLA. So who has this power? Enforcement Directorate. Enforcement Directorate has the power to arrest, it has the power to raid, right? And Supreme Court upholds these powers, which means uphold means defend. Yes, ED has these powers. So I've underlined all the important points from this article. So we'll go through it and I will also explain wherever required. So Supreme Court on Wednesday upheld the amendments made to this particular act. Supreme Court also called PMLA as a law against the scourge of money laundering. What is scourge? Scourge means something that causes great trouble. Money laundering is not a small trouble, it's a global issue. It's a transnational issue, international issue, because generally money crosses boundaries. Money gotten from illegal means in India crosses the boundary of India and goes to other countries. Money gotten from illegal activities in Pakistan can be used to sponsor terrorism in India. So it is a very, very big global problem. So that is why Supreme Court called this law against the scourge of money laundering. So we need to have this kind of law to fight this kind of heinous crime like money laundering. While the politicians are saying, opposition parties are saying, ruling party is using this as a hatchet. Hatchet means a weapon against rival politicians and dissenters. Dissenters means people who go against the government, who voice their opinion against the government. Politicians are saying government is misusing it, ED is misusing this act. But Supreme Court says we need this kind of an act to fight money laundering, which is as bad as terrorism. Look at this. It has equated money laundering to terrorism. It is not a small crime. And Supreme Court also said it is a unique legislation. Sui generis means unique legislation. And India had to make this legislation based on its international commitment. We have this Financial Action Task Force. Financial Action Task Force. In late 1980s, it was formed to tackle this issue of money laundering. And India was also a signatory to FATF, a member of this. As a member, and all the member countries are supposed to legislate. They're all supposed to come out with their own legislations. We have this commitment. We are supposed to have a very strong legislation against it, right? To strongly deal with the menace of money laundering, right? And the proceeds of which have international, transnational consequences. So what happened? Extensive challenge. Yes, obviously. In 2019, there were certain amendments made to this particular act via Finance Act, very important. So it was introduced as a money bill. It was introduced as a money bill. You know, Rajya Sabha cannot reject money bill. It can only return, but it cannot reject money. It can only give its opinion, but it cannot reject money bill. It was introduced in 2019 as a money bill, and there is a question on that. How can you introduce this bill as a money bill? That is another question. So these petitioners have questioned the method of introduction of these amendments via money bills. But the Supreme Court said it will be examined by a larger bench. So there will be a 7-judge bench which is already handling similar case. So they will decide whether it is appropriate to introduce such bills as money bill or not. We are not going to talk about it. That is what the 3-judge bench said. That is what they said. So the Supreme Court also said it is a heinous crime. It is equivalent to, in fact, it is more heinous than the offense of terrorism, no less a heinous offense than the terrorism, equivalent to terrorism. It has equated it to terrorism. Now we are coming to the actual important points here. The first thing that the Supreme Court said, look at this. I'll explain these things in a detailed manner. So in our criminal justice system, whenever you have an accused means on whom the charges are framed, are allegations of crime, charges of crime are framed. Whoever is facing these charges is called accused. In India, we have Article 23, which says self-incrimination is not possible. For example, let's say we have a policeman and you have this man who is accused of a crime. The police beats this person and asks him to confess. Confess means accept. Asks him or forces him to confess the crime. This confession is not valid in the court of law. Is not valid, because again the judge will ask the person whether you have committed the crime. If he says no, I have not committed, then this confession which he did in the police station does not hold true. So that is what they are saying here. The accused has right against self-incrimination. You cannot incriminate yourself. You cannot say I have done the crime in front of police, and it could be done under force also, right? Police might beat you, they might warn you, they will force you, and they will force you to confess, and they will record it. The police cannot use this as an evidence in the court of law. The judge again asks the person. If you have seen this movie called Drishyam 2, in this movie Drishyam 2, the actor, Telugu actor Venkatesh or Malayalam actor Mohanlal was first in the police station. With the police, he confessed his crime. But when he goes to the judge, when he goes to court, he says, no, I confessed under the force of police. I did not do any crime. So that confession is not valid. Why are we discussing this? In this PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, instead of police, we have Enforcement Directorate here. Enforcement Directorate can inquire any person. He is the accused. During the process of inquiry, if this person confesses, his crime, or if he puts certain signatures, ED can use this confession as a ground and arrest him. ED can use this confession. ED can also use this as an evidence. Just now we spoke about Article 23, which says self-incrimination is not valid in Indian context. But the court said here, these statements were recorded as part of an inquiry. In the police case, it is interrogation. In this case, it is inquiry into the proceeds of crime. Person cannot claim right against self-incrimination at summons stage. Only in the initial stage, when the ED summons him, asks him to come and present before them, that is called summons stage. When it was inquiring, if he confesses, if he agrees, if he is unable to answer the questions of ED and agrees, then ED can use it as an evidence. ED can use it as an evidence. So this is the difference between normal cases and this particular case of PMLA. So let's look at some provisions. So the next page. So petitioners had also argued that ED could arrest a person without showing him or supplying a copy of the ECIR. ECIR is like your FIR. If police go, they record FIR, first information report, and ED goes and arrests, they maintain something called ECIR. So what happens in normal circumstances is, whenever a police goes and arrests a person, he will show the copy of FIR. So FIR maintains all the charges. It tells them why he is being arrested. So because this person has a right to know the grounds of his arrest. Why am I being arrested? Similarly, the petitioners are saying ED must show ECIR. Because you maintain ECIR, why don't you show it? The police show FIR, why don't you show ECIR? Now the Supreme Court said they need not show ECIR because ECIR was an internal document. If they show it to the accused, if they reveal the contents of this ECIR to the accused, it might have a deleterious impact. Deleterious means harmful impact. Anyway, the accused was informed of the grounds of the arrest. So what happens is, whenever ED calls someone, it informs him, it tells him why he is being arrested. It gives the grounds or reasons. So anyway, they are giving these reasons orally. They need not to show ECIR is what the Supreme Court is saying. But in a police case, normal cases, police have to show FIR. So there is this difference, and Supreme Court said they need not show ECIR copy. Next issue is about twin conditions of bail. Whenever someone is arrested under PMLA, so there are two conditions for bail. So I'll tell you one important aspect here. So pay full attention. In Indian Penal Code, we should not treat a person as guilty. We should treat him as innocent. Innocent until proven guilty. Are you getting this? A person has to be treated innocent until proven guilty. So who has the burden of proving this person as guilty? The police has the responsibility. The police has the burden of proving his guilt. So when a policeman arrests a person, it is the responsibility of the policeman to gather evidence and witnesses and then submit to the court of law. Only when court is satisfied with evidence and witness, the court declares the person as a convict or as guilty. This is the normal process. But here in this particular case, in Enforcement Directorate case, the situation is different. There is this concept of reverse burden of proof. Reverse burden of proof of innocence. Reverse burden of proof of innocence, which means when ED arrests a person and this person himself has to prove his innocence. He has to prove his innocence. Until he proves his innocence, he will be treated as guilty. It is the other way around. You are guilty until you prove yourself to be innocent. In normal cases, you are innocent until you are proven guilty. So this man has the burden of proof of innocence. That is why we call it reverse burden. That is the reason even bail is also not easy. For getting bail, you have twin conditions. There are two conditions to be satisfied if you are supposed to get a bail. What are the two conditions? First thing, the trial court should be convinced that there were reasonable grounds that the applicant was not guilty. Only when the trial court feels this person might not be guilty. If the court feels that there are enough reasons that proves that this person might not be guilty, that is one condition. Second condition, if the court feels he was unlikely to commit any offense while out on a bail. While out on a bail, he would not do any crime. The court has to believe in these things. Only when the trial court believes that this person might not be an offender and also he might not do any crime while out on a bail, the trial court will give the bail, otherwise it will not give. So it is very, very difficult. It is very, very difficult to get bail in such cases. So these two conditions are very, very difficult. That is why prosecutors generally use these conditions to oppose the bail plea. And the petitioners wanted this to be removed, but the Supreme Court said money laundering was an aggravated form of crime the world over. So we need to have a stringent law. We need to have a very strong and stringent law. It creates a deterrent effect. What is the meaning of deterrent effect? A deterrent is something that discourages you. Because it is very difficult to get a bail in money laundering case, maybe you will think twice while committing a crime of money laundering. That is the effect of deterrence. Next point, we already spoke about this. We did not speak. The amendment allows an accused who has already spent one half of the term of punishment as an under trial to seek bail under 436A of CRPC. For example, he was given punishment for 3 years. If he had spent 1.5 years, then under CRPC 436A he can seek bail. That option is still there for the applicant. And the next thing is shifting the burden of proof from this State onto the shoulders of the accused. We have already discussed. Reverse burden of proof is something we have already discussed. Another concept is they could even attach property that were not proceeds of crime. Very important point. So according to PMLA, Enforcement Directorate can attach the property of the accused. Attach means there will not be any selling or buying transactions on that property. So let's say he has earned some 100 crores illegal money, and using this 100 crores, if he has earned another 30 crores. So this is your proceeds of crime, and this is the profit generated out of proceeds of crime. So the current law allows to attach this 100 crore and also this 30 crore. Are you getting this? This is proceeds of crime, and this is the money that he got out of this as profit or some other thing. They can attach both amounts. That is another aspect, and Supreme Court upheld this provision also. Next aspect. PMLA is attracted by the mere possession of the crime proceeds and does not require its projection as untainted property, the court noted. Very important point. For example, you have some money, but this illegal money, but you did not try to prove it to the world that it is clean money. Are you getting it? You got some money from drug trafficking or something else. You kept it with you. You did not try to show it to the world that it is legal money. Only when you try to show it to the world that this is legal money, it is called money laundering. Now the court is saying, the PMLA is saying, even if you don't show it to the world as it is legal money, even then PMLA attracts. If you hold the money which is coming out of a crime, an illegal crime, even though you did not show it to the world, you did not try to clean it, launder it, you did not try to project it, still PMLA applies to you. That is what the court is saying. The last point, the court said attachment of property under section 5 of PMLA cannot be done mechanically. It's a very important point. Very, very important point. See, I'll give you some background for this. This is quite complicated. Look at this. So, you are a person. You have committed a crime. What is this crime? Could be drug trafficking, could be human trafficking, some crime. And these crimes are called scheduled offences. You have committed a scheduled offence, and because of this crime, you got a lot of money. Without crime, you will not get money, right? You will get money only when there was some crime, and you try to launder it. You try to make it look like legal money. Now, money laundering case is here, but this money laundering case is dependent on a scheduled offence. Money laundering case is dependent on a scheduled offence. Scheduled offence is something that is mentioned in the Schedule of Money Laundering Act. There are multiple offences which were mentioned. It should be any one of them. The court is saying, very important point, the court is saying, if you are going to attach this money, first of all, you have to think, you have to see whether there is a case registered. First of all, there has to be a case registered. There has to be a case registered for that scheduled offence. This case can be registered in any police station. Without a case being registered for the scheduled offence, you cannot attach property. That is what the author is saying. That is what the court is saying. When it says it cannot be done mechanically, that is the meaning of that. You cannot directly go and attach the property of the accused. First of all, there has to be a case for the crime he has committed. That crime is different crime. It could be drug trafficking, it could be human trafficking, it could be something else. There has to be a case filed on him for that crime. Only when that crime is there, this money laundering case is dependent on that. Only when that crime is active, even though it was not proven, it is still under investigation, only when that crime is active, you can attach the property of the person. That is why they said it cannot be done mechanically. This is how this provision provides a nice balancing arrangement. between the interest of the accused and the state. So accused also has some protection. Without a case being registered for the scheduled crime, you cannot just blindly go and attach his property. That is what this statement is saying. So this is all about our PMLA and the judgment. If you read the newspaper properly, you don't need to do anything else. Newspaper gives a lot of information. We will just need to add some background information, which I am anyway doing. So use this, make note of it, make your own notes, that will help you in the long run. Because of a very tight schedule, I had to stop even today. From tomorrow onwards, we will have enough number of articles covered. That is my promise. I hope you will understand and give your comments in the comment section. Take care. Bye.